Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to focus on something very simple, yet very powerful. A part of language learning that is often ignored, misunderstood, or underestimated. The title of this speech is, Train Your Mouth to Talk English. Not your brain alone, not your memory, not your notebook, but your mouth. Because here is a truth many learners overlook. Knowing English is not the same as speaking English. You may understand grammar, you may recognize vocabulary, you may even score well in written exams. But when the moment comes to speak, when words must leave your mouth in real time, everything suddenly feels difficult. The mind hesitates, the tongue pauses, and confidence disappears. Why does this happen? It happens because speaking is a physical skill, not just a mental one. Just like playing a musical instrument or learning to drive, speaking requires coordination, repetition, and muscle training. Your brain may know the words, but your mouth is not trained to produce them smoothly. So today, let us shift our perspective. Let us stop treating English only as a subject to study and start treating it as a skill to perform. And performance begins with the mouth. Think about how a child learns to speak. A child does not begin with grammar rules. A child listens, imitates, repeats, and experiments. At first, the words are unclear, the pronunciation is imperfect, but the child keeps speaking. The mouth keeps moving, and slowly clarity emerges. But as adults, we often reverse this process. We wait until we feel ready before we speak. We want perfect sentences before we open our mouths. We want confidence before we practice, and as a result, we remain silent. Silence in language learning is not safety. It is delay. If you truly want to speak English, you must train your mouth to move, even when your mind is not fully prepared. Let us understand what this training involves. The first step is breaking hesitation. Your mouth must become comfortable producing English sounds. This means speaking out loud, not just thinking silently. Many learners spend hours reading or listening, but very little time actually speaking. This creates an imbalance. The brain becomes familiar with English, but the mouth remains inactive. You must correct this imbalance. Start simple. Speak basic sentences out loud, even if you are alone. Say, I am going to the market. Say, I feel tired today. Say, this is interesting. These are not complex sentences, but they are powerful exercises. Each spoken sentence is like a repetition in physical training. It strengthens coordination between thought and speech. The second step is repetition without fear. When athletes train, they repeat movements again and again until they become automatic. Language works the same way. Repeating phrases out loud helps your mouth remember patterns. It reduces hesitation. It builds rhythm. Do not worry about sounding repetitive. Repetition is not weakness, it is training. The third step is pronunciation awareness. Many learners struggle not because they lack vocabulary, but because they are unsure how to pronounce words. This uncertainty creates hesitation. Your mouth stops because it is not confident. To solve this, listen carefully to how words are spoken, then repeat them, not once, but multiple times. Pay attention to sound, stress, and flow. You are not just learning words, you are training your mouth to shape those words correctly. But let me be clear, perfection is not required. Clarity improves over time. What matters is movement, not immediate accuracy. Now let us talk about speed. Speaking is a real-time activity. You do not get long pauses to translate or construct sentences. This is why training your mouth is essential. It reduces the delay between thinking and speaking. One effective way to build speed is shadow speaking. This means listening to someone speaking in English and repeating immediately after them, almost like an echo. This trains your mouth to keep up with natural rhythm. It may feel fast at first, but over time, your mouth adapts. Another technique is self-speaking. Talk to yourself about your day. Describe what you are doing. Express your thoughts out loud. This may feel unusual, but it is extremely effective. You are creating a safe environment where your mouth can practice without fear of judgment. And that brings us to an important point: fear. Fear is the biggest barrier to speaking. Fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of embarrassment. But let us think logically. How can your mouth improve if it does not move? How can fluency develop without practice? Mistakes are not signs of failure, they are signs of participation. Every time you speak incorrectly, you are still training your mouth. You are still building familiarity. You are still reducing hesitation. Over time, mistakes decrease naturally, not because you avoided them, but because you moved through them. Now let us consider consistency. Training your mouth is not a one-day effort. It requires daily practice. Even 10 minutes of speaking out loud every day can create significant improvement over time. The key is regularity, not intensity. Your mouth, like any muscle, responds to repeated use. Another important aspect is listening with intention. When you listen to English, do not just understand the meaning. Observe how the words are spoken. Notice how sentences connect. Notice how sounds flow. Then try to imitate that flow. Speaking is not just about words, it is about rhythm. Let us also address the role of confidence. Many people believe that confidence comes before speaking, but in reality, confidence comes from speaking. The more you use your mouth, the more comfortable you become. The more comfortable you become, the more confident you feel. Confidence is not the starting point, it is the result. Now imagine this transformation. A learner who once hesitated begins speaking daily, even in simple sentences. Their pronunciation improves gradually. Their speed increases. Their fear decreases. And one day they realize something surprising. They are speaking without overthinking. That is the result of training the mouth. At that stage, speaking becomes more natural. You no longer feel blocked. You no longer struggle to begin. Words come more easily, not because you memorized everything, but because your mouth has learned how to respond. This is the goal, not perfection, but flow. Let us go deeper for a moment. Speaking is not just a mechanical skill. It is also an expressive one. Your mouth is the tool through which your thoughts enter the world. If the tool is untrained, your thoughts remain inside. But when the tool is trained, your ideas gain voice. Training your mouth, therefore, is also about giving your thoughts freedom. And this freedom has power. It allows you to communicate, to connect, to express opinions, to share ideas. It reduces frustration and increases clarity. It turns knowledge into action. So what should you do starting today? Speak more than you study. Repeat more than you memorize. Practice more than you prepare. Move your mouth even when your sentences are not perfect. Because fluency is not built in silence. Let me say that again. Fluency is not built in silence. Every word you speak is progress. Every sentence you attempt is training. Every moment you choose to speak instead of staying silent is a step forward. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for perfect grammar. Do not wait for confidence to appear magically. Start where you are. Use what you know. Speak what you can. Train your mouth and your mind will follow. Because once your mouth becomes comfortable with English, your brain adapts faster. The connection between thought and speech becomes stronger. The hesitation begins to fade. And gradually, what once felt difficult becomes natural. In closing, remember this simple but powerful idea. English is not only learned, it is performed. And performance requires movement. So train your mouth every day. Speak without fear. Repeat without hesitation. Improve without pressure. And one day, you will not just know English, you will speak it with ease, clarity, and confidence. Let us continue this journey, because training your mouth to talk English is not a small task. It is a process that reshapes habits, confidence, and even identity over time. At this stage, we must go beyond the basics and understand something deeper. Your mouth does not only produce words, it reflects your level of comfort with the language. If your mouth is stiff, your speech will feel blocked. If your mouth is relaxed and practiced, your speech will flow naturally. So the real goal is not just to speak more, but to make speaking feel normal. Normality is powerful. Whatever feels normal to the brain becomes automatic. And whatever becomes automatic requires less effort. So the question is, how do we make English speaking feel normal? We do this by increasing frequency. Think about it. If you speak English once a week, your mouth treats it as something unusual. It feels like a special task. But if you speak English every day, even for a few minutes, your mouth begins to treat it as a routine activity. The resistance decreases, the hesitation weakens, the unfamiliar becomes familiar. Frequency builds comfort. Now let us talk about a very practical challenge learners face. I don't have anyone to speak with. This is a common problem, but it is not a valid excuse. Because your first speaking partner does not need to be another person. It can be yourself. Self-speaking is one of the most powerful yet underrated techniques. When you speak to yourself, you remove social pressure. You give your mouth freedom to experiment. You can repeat sentences, pause, correct yourself, and try again, all without fear. Stand in front of a mirror and speak, not for appearance, but for awareness. Observe how your mouth moves. Notice your expressions. Listen to your own voice. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is part of growth. Over time, this practice builds familiarity with your own speaking ability. And once you are comfortable speaking to yourself, speaking to others becomes easier. Another powerful method is topic speaking. Choose a simple topic, your daily routine, your favorite food, your plans for tomorrow, and speak about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Do not stop, even if you repeat ideas. The goal is not originality, the goal is continuity. Continuity trains your mouth to keep moving, because one of the biggest problems learners face is stopping mid-sentence. They begin speaking, then pause, because they cannot find the perfect word. This breaks flow. To overcome this, you must learn to keep speaking even with limited vocabulary. Use simple words, use alternative expressions, keep the sentence alive. For example, if you cannot remember a specific word, describe it. Instead of stopping, say, the thing we use for, or something like. This keeps your mouth active and your communication effective. Now let us move into an important psychological shift. Stop aiming for perfect English and start aiming for clear English. Perfect English is slow and stressful. Clear English is fast and effective. When your focus changes from perfection to clarity, your mouth relaxes. You stop overthinking every word. You allow yourself to speak more naturally. And ironically, This is what improves your accuracy over time, because fluency improves accuracy, not the other way around. Let us also discuss the role of energy. Speaking requires energy. If you speak in a low, hesitant, or passive tone, your mouth does not fully engage. But when you speak with energy, clear voice, active tone, and confidence, your mouth becomes more responsive. Try this. Speak slightly louder than your usual voice when you practice. Not shouting, but clear projection. This activates your speech muscles more effectively. It also builds confidence. Your voice becomes stronger, and your presence becomes more noticeable. Remember, speaking is not just about words, it is about delivery. Now let us consider rhythm and flow. English has a natural rhythm where some words are stressed and others are softer. When your mouth learns this rhythm, your speech sounds more natural and becomes easier to produce. To develop rhythm, listen to natural English conversations and mimic them. Not word by word, but flow by flow. Notice how sentences rise and fall. Notice how pauses are used. Then try to copy that pattern. At first, it may feel like imitation, but imitation is a powerful learning tool. It helps your mouth learn patterns faster than memorization ever could. Now let us go deeper into habit formation. Training your mouth requires routine. You cannot depend on motivation alone. Some days you will feel like practicing, some days you will not. But consistency must continue regardless of mood. Create a simple daily routine. Speak for 5 minutes in the morning. Repeat phrases for 5 minutes during the day. Speak again for 5 minutes at night. This is not difficult. It does not require special tools, but if done daily, it creates transformation. Small habits, repeated consistently, create big changes. Now imagine this process over time. In the beginning, your sentences are short and hesitant. After a few weeks, they become smoother. After a few months, your mouth begins to respond automatically. And one day you find yourself speaking without fear. That is the power of training. Let us also talk about social speaking. At some point, you must take your practice beyond yourself. Speak with friends, classmates, or anyone willing to engage. Even short conversations matter. Do not wait until you feel fully ready. You will never feel completely ready. Start with small interactions. Ask simple questions. Give short answers. Gradually increase your participation. Each real conversation strengthens your speaking ability. But remember, do not compare yourself to others. Everyone's pace is different. Some people speak faster because they have practiced more. Some speak slower because they are still learning. Your journey is your own. Focus on your progress, not someone else's speed. Now let us explore a deeper realization. Your mouth learns through use, not through observation. Watching videos, reading books, and listening to audio are helpful, but they are passive. Speaking is active, and active practice is what creates real change. You cannot become a fluent speaker by watching others speak. You must speak. Even if your voice shakes, even if your sentences are incomplete, even if your grammar is not perfect, because every time you speak, you are training your mouth to become more capable. Now let us bring everything together. Training your mouth to talk English is about breaking silence, building repetition, reducing fear, increasing frequency, practicing daily, speaking imperfectly, and continuing consistently. It is not about talent. It is not about intelligence. It is about usage. The more you use your mouth, the better it becomes. And finally, let me leave you with a powerful idea. Your mouth is not your enemy. It is your instrument. But like any instrument, it must be played regularly to produce beautiful sound. If you leave it unused, it becomes stiff. If you practice daily, it becomes smooth. So do not keep your English inside your mind. Bring it out, speak it, repeat it, use it. Train your mouth every single day. And slowly, steadily, confidently, you will transform from someone who knows English into someone who speaks English. And that is where true fluency begins. Thank you.